These plants throughout the years, what you start to realize is that nothing's off limits. As you can see, we're pretty much in here, and what this plant does, it designed, I'm not exactly sure what type of milk or what type of processing they're officially going to be doing at this project, but it has something to do with removing chemicals, pasteurizing. I believe they're going to be pasteurizing milk, if I'm not mistaken. But this particular project was an interesting project. I have been on projects like this in the past, but this is a little more hands-on. Again, a little more detailed. Very interesting. Interesting stuff. Whenever you get into these plants, these processing plants, whether they're making chemicals or designing certain products, it's all about being on the line and hey, getting involved in a project that means something. Like I said, this is going to be a cool project. But one of the cool things about this project, it pretty much came from China. And so with a plant like this, you pretty much, it's just all about assembling this plant according to the drawings. And one of the things about this is easy. Not unless you don't know how to do it. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it's easy, but hey, it's a job in itself. But hey, this is why they pay the big bucks for guys like me and you who are skilled in doing things of this caliber. And yeah, it's pretty big. It's about the size of I would say about maybe 3 football fields. But yeah, interesting project. It didn't last that long, unfortunately, but it's all good. We're moving on to the next. Just to show you guys a little inside out. That's how I go. So I'm on a job this morning, and can you believe it? This job actually didn't require me to take a test to get in the door. Believe it or not, you're gonna find jobs like this. This morning, I'm working on the schedule-weighted carbon steel pipe. Making, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 butt welds. Like I was saying, you go on some projects and they don't require you to take a test. There's no safety, there's no QC, there's nobody there to pretty much supervise the production. And that's good, that's great, I love it. On jobs like this, what I usually do is sharpen up, work on new techniques, work on things that I've thought about or came up with in my mind, and I want to see if they really work. And what happens is when you find yourself on jobs like this right here, what you do is practice those techniques that you've been thinking about, something you may have seen or something that you thought of. Practice it. Cut your heat all the way up. See what it does with that bevel and with that gap opening you got. See what it does. Cut the heat down, see what it does. You know, use 2 rods, 2 1/8 wires, to, 3, and cut the heat up and weld with it. See what it does. Just for an example. And you want to look at the way things are running and consider, hey, could I use this technique on a project with a QC? If I was in a tight spot, I know the last time I was in a particular job, I'll just give you an example. It was in a tight spot and I cut the heat all the way up and I put my root in and the root looked good. So you take that with you on a job, it's like a critical job, in terms of quality control is concerned. But yeah, no tests, no QC, no safety. As you can see, I'm in a man basket. No, I'm not tied off. Well, you know that's a no-no. Standing on the rail of the man basket. Or scissor lift, whatever you want to call it. But yeah. Believe it or not, these jobs are not hard. It's an mention something. So a lot of people ask me, how can I get my feet wet? How can I get in? How can I get these jobs and be able to travel? Just like you see me traveling all over the country, even some parts of the world. You gotta put forth an effort to reach out. You got social media. And not only that, one of the ways you can definitely get a job is by watching the video on how to get a job. Go on roadtex.com, just to name one. And just right in the search bar, pipe welding. Type that in. Press search. Go ahead and scroll up. You're gonna see companies pop up. You know, I've done the video. Follow the video. You're gonna get jobs. And from there, you just keep contact with people you're working with on the job, and that's how you pretty much network yourself in. But yeah, I'm gonna get ready to finish making these welds and just hang out. It's Friday, and it's no sweat. I'm getting paid. Nobody's on my back. It's all good. Not to mention, this is how I know. I mentioned earlier in the video that I put a root in on 170 amps. How do you think I knew that would work? Trial and error. Bing, the light went off, right? Trial and error. A light bulb should pop up in your mind. Bing. Trial and error. That's how you do things. That's what this is all about. Trial and error. But now I gotta get back to work, finish these welds, and move on to the next. I guess we're gonna be moving on down this line right here behind me. We're running this stainless pipe here. We got this is 12-inch here. Yeah, 10-inch or 12-inch schedule. Schedule 10. But it's all good, man. There's plenty of work out here. The next project I'm going on will be, I'm actually going back to the new plant. Because I'm not really too interested in going really far away from where I live. So I'm trying to keep it local or within an hour or two from where I live. You know, so yeah. But I'll see you guys in a few. Something else I want to make mention to you guys. When you're trying this technique out, you make sure your fitter don't lay your bevel back too far, okay? You want that bevel to be exactly how it's supposed to be. Not like this. You want it to be more inward, okay? As you see my bevel. And look at the bevel. It's got more of an angle on it. Using a really high amperage, and if your bevel is laid out like this right here, imagine what's going to happen. It's going to consume that tip really fast, really quick. Okay. So make sure your fitter give you a proper bevel. Whenever you weld this hot, you want your passes to be pretty much the width of a cigarette butt. About a 1/4 inch or better, or maybe less, give or take. About a 1/4 inch, give or take, in width. So remember you're welding pretty hot, so everything is melting in. Once you strike off, you start melting that bevel and you're adding your wire, everything's gonna melt in. It's gonna just fuse all together. That 170, 175, 180 amps you on, it's fusing all in. It's important that you use a tight gap as well. Again, tight gap. I always use a 1/8 with this technique. I don't go to 332. I always use a 1/8, whether I got a 332 gap and a 1/8 wire, or a tight 1/8 gap and a 1/8 wire. I always go with the 1/8 wire with high temperatures, and you just walk over the wire, or to be exact, just walk over the wire and don't weave no more than the width of a cigarette butt. That's about a 1/4 of an inch weave pattern. So just try it. You'll see that it's going to work. Don't be afraid of it. This is a key, okay, on how to be really quick in the field. You always learn little tricks of the trade, and it always works. And again, this is Schedule 80 pipe. I don't want you guys to get on your Schedule 40 and crank your heat up like that, and then, you know, it might be a disaster. But don't get me wrong, practice with it. Try your Schedule 40. Yeah, see if it works. Again, I use 170 amps, and this is Schedule 80 pipe. Alright, so let's try that again. Believe it or not, it can be done. 170 amps. Schedule 80. Let's see what we got. Alright, so we'll be looking at, this pipe is hot. We're looking at that first 1/4 I just did. Nice. Got a uniform ROOTPASS. Pretty much see it. I can't really hold it steady. Hold it steady, steady as she go. Come on, baby. But anyway, yeah, you can see it. But the point I want you to see is that it can be done. Tight gap, Schedule 180, it always works. Now, Schedule 40, we can experiment with that. I never really cut the heat up that hot unless it was a 20-inch pipe. Then, you know, I've done that on 20-inch Schedule 40, but this is 4-inch Schedule 80, really thick pipe. It can hold the heat. Use a tight gap, 170 amps or more. You can't say you've never seen it before, and then you've seen it inside of the roof. Trust me, it was uniform. I don't know how the camera shot it on your end and what you're looking at. It looks really good. QC will be pleased with you. Everything melts in. You can roll with it. Go with it really fast. People will be looking at you like, well, damn, how do you weld that pipe so quick? They come look at it with the flashlight, check that root out. It looked like you migged it. But yeah, I'm gonna get on and I know guys over here trying to figure out what I'm doing up top. Stay tuned. Yeah, that Schedule 80 can get your hand right if that's what needs to happen. The point I'm making is practice, staying sharp is staying sharp, and it all runs together. And this is what I like, man. I like it, I like it. I like to get off the map and kind of do my own thing, I call it. But then I got to get right back to the money after I get kind of, tired of dealing with, I don't want to say small paychecks. I don't want to sound ungrateful, because I'm grateful to be able to make the type of money I make. But hey, each his own, right? That's what people say, each his own. But the thing about it is, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell you the truth, so you can know. Because they say, if you knew better, you'll do better. And I want you guys out there to do better. I want you to do good. That's what it's all about. Doing good for yourself, doing good for your family. Hey, it's all good. I guess we're getting ready to fix some more pipe up. Some more of this Schedule 80. And one of the things about this Schedule 80 pipe, any type of thick pipe, anything that's greater than Schedule 40, it holds heat really well. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to cut that heat up and see what works for you. But I'm gonna get on back to it. Keep in mind, whenever you're on jobs like this where there's no QC, there's nobody to really do root checks or final weld checks, hey, take the time to practice different techniques you may have thought about in the past that you actually didn't get an opportunity to try because the QC or the job was really demanding. You didn't really have time to try a new technique, or even it just could have been simple. It was just plain 100% X-ray, and you didn't want to chance anything. So when you get a chance to get on, I call it being off the map. When you get a chance to go out and take it easy. Maybe it might be a paper mill. You know me, I'm no stranger to paper mills. Maybe 3 times a year or whatever. It's been a while since I've been in one, but I was fortunate to be able to take on this job close to home. And pay is not that good on the hour, but the per diem is $145 a day, which is great. So, as I just showed you, the fitter was not that good. Hey, they kind of need things done, so I said, hey, whatever you give me, I can work with. And that comes from just being in the field and being able to be diverse when it comes to certain gap openings. And again, just trying new things. And that's how I got to know that on Schedule 80 pipe with like a 332 gap or maybe something tighter than a 332, that if I cut the heat up to 170 or 180 amps, that the root's going to go in perfect. It looks like somebody MIG'd it, and it's not concave, okay? It's convex, the way you want it. Meaning, for you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, meaning it has some curvature inside your root pass, which is good. So again, I got all that pretty much from practicing and putting certain techniques to practice and seeing what works. And yeah, so I'm here to tell you, try things, try new things, and don't be afraid to take on a job that's a little bit, you know what I'm saying? It's always good. And especially whenever you are just starting out, just take whatever you can get. Take whatever you can get, because hey, it's only going to do you good, not bad, unless you really need the money, or unless you really need big money. But yeah, we out here, we doing it. It's not a bad job at all. I mean, there's nobody cracking a whip, nobody really rushing you. Not bad at all. The Schedule 80, get your hand right. And remember, whenever you're in the field and you're on a job like this here, and you don't have a QC or safety, nobody's really on your back, There's no real reason for you not to try and practice different techniques. For example, like welding with the opposite hand. Hey, this is the opportunity where you can try, you can practice, you can try to get that technique down pat, because look, there's nobody to worry you, nobody to say, hey, what are you doing? So just imagine that and apply that whenever you're in the field, and you actually get an opportunity to be on a job like this right here. Yeah, so what do you think about that? Being on a job without a QC, without safety. Hey, this is one of the jobs. You actually don't have a QC, you don't have any safety, and fortunate for me, I'm in the building. Of course, we know it's summertime, pretty much towards the end of July, and we're up in the pipe rack right there. Right there, right where that guy at on that seat. But sometimes in the field you find yourself on jobs like what you see. Easy-going jobs. I mean, the only way you can mess this up is if you come in slap drunk, messed up on something, or maybe if you hurt yourself. But other than that, I mean, hey, they're not paying as much on an hour, but the per diem is really good. It's not necessarily commercial. It's still heavy industrial, but we're inside a building. So it's all good. Now I'm gonna get ready to make a weld, and yeah, enjoy myself. Like I said, jobs like this right here, you gotta suck it in, kind of take a break, get yourself off the map, and just enjoy the easy, less strenuous task you get throughout the day. And hey, it's just part of the business. I'm not complaining one bit. But we actually got a whole bunch of stainless and some Schedule 80 carbon steel. So this morning, I'll actually be welding on some carbon steel. And we're gonna get ready to make a, make a butt weld. As you can see, he's up here pretty much prepping it for me. We're gonna get ready to make this butt weld, and hey, it's been a while since I've been on something like this without a QC and without safety. It's the same old thing, just another area. Whenever you're on a job without safety, it's your job to make sure that you're safe. Jobs like this, something to keep in mind. You get a lot of drug addicts, drunks, things of that nature. A lot of drugs kind of filter their way through also. Not necessarily saying you get less skilled craftsmen, but you get the craftsmen that like to live a little. I mean, if you will. But yeah, other than that, it's all good, man. As long as they paying, I'm staying.
Golden Arm, because you're good at what you do. This brand is designed for individuals who believe in their skills and recognize their own potential at becoming great. Visit mygoldenarm.com now. Let the whole world know you're good at what you do.